Right, new tyre day. This time I'm going to show you how to take the rear wheel off. It's already on a paddock stand, really simple. You need 13mm spanner, a 10mm spanner, both open-ended, and a 34mm socket. Let's do it. Hoping you can see this because it's actually quite a bright sunny day today. So, job number one, using the big 34mm socket, is to crack this nut off here. There we go. If you're just doing a chain adjustment, you just crack it. But as we're going to remove the wheel, we might as well take the whole thing off. Just bear in mind that behind it there's a large washer. You need to keep hold of that as well. It goes up against the spacer block there. Right, so the next job now is just here. There's an adjustment bolt for, I don't know if you can see it on the, yeah, you can see that, for the chain. At this end, nearest the swing arm, is a 13mm lock nut. Just literally need to pinch that, undo it, and then spin it back with your finger as far back as it will go. Because this will give you some slack to be able to move this forward so you can get the chain off the sprocket and drive the axle nut out. And there's a 10mm nut here next to the spacer. Let's get that turned. Probably barely needs any movement, but it's just, you know, just to get it to go. Then you spin that in. What I'm doing now is I'm spinning them in to the swing arm. And I'm going to repeat the process on the other side, so there's no need to show you that, it's exactly the same. Right then, so they've all been wound in both sides, and now we're going to push the wheel forward. There we go, generate a lot of slack in the chain, and unhook the chain from the sprocket. And now that's free to be removed from the bike. First things first though, remove your spacer, don't lose it, and then this has got to come out, the axle nut. There's lots of techniques for doing this. I find putting a mallet underneath the tyre just keeps it off the deck a bit, which gives me the opportunity to manipulate the axle nut out. So that's the axle removed, as you can see. And then you've got to displace the brake caliper on this side. Relatively simple. It just slides off. And that's the wheel removed. So that's how I remove my rear wheel. Once I've had a new tyre put on and we get back, I'll show you how to put it back on. Really simple. Right then, you can see, nice beautiful Michelin Road 5. Ooh. So, I'm going to show you how I go about putting it back on. Nice simple little job. Can be a little bit fiddly, lining everything up, but once you've got the hang of it, easy peasy. Anyway, let's get on with it. So the most difficult part really is getting it all jiggled in. So once you've got it all lined up, chain can go back on the sprocket. Just loop it over, wheel it round, give it a spin so you know it's all there. And then on this side, you need to put your spacer block back in. There's a little indent on it where your nut would have been pushed against. See that? That goes up against the nut for tightening your chain, so that goes on. Then your washer, like I said, keep hold of that at the beginning. There's a groove in the spacer block for this to sit in. And then your spring nut. You want to do this up loose for now, because you need to set the chain tension with the adjuster bolts. Again, get the 34 millet. We'll just leave it loose for now, and we're going to set the chain tension. So now we're going to set the chain tension, which on the S1000R, I'll just move this across here. You should be able to see that right in there. It says to be 35 to 45 millimeters, which is in the centre of the run here. So we're going to measure that with our metal ruler. But first, we need to get the adjuster box screwed back out. So these that you screwed in earlier, just need to spin them out so they touch against the adjuster box. There. Right then, so they're both up against the adjusters on both sides. Now we start measuring and adjusting. So we're going to measure the chain depth first, just to see where we are, and then we'll start going from there. Extremely slack, can you see that? So we need to come out. And we do that with the 10mm spanner on there. As you do it, you can actually see the chain tightening before your eyes actually. Probably a little bit too much that time. So we'll just come back. So, in the middle of the chain run, push it up to the top. So we've now got, I reckon, that's about 45mm. So I've gone to the upper end, and I'll explain why in a moment. I'm just going to check that the other side's up against it. No, I'm not. So now we'll check the wheel alignment now. So on the swing arm you've got marks, however, the mechanic told me, a little tip, to use your straight edge ruler. It's a lot more accurate, but I'll show you both. So within the swing arm here, this window and this window, there's little dash marks, and you can count along how many dash marks you are. So we are at the moment about 2.5 at the bottom, and we're just on the edge of the number 3 in the top run. So let's check next door. So the other side is well over, so we need to bring the other side in a bit to bring the wheel back, instead of, because I imagine at the moment it's like this, so we need to bring them both in line, like that. 2 minutes. Now the adjustments on the swing arm are the same. Do a little measure. So I measure from the block here to here, straight line across, because you've got the swing arm comes down, then angles in here. So just where it goes straight, I measure from the block to there. And I make that 40mm on this side. Right, so they're now equal. We'll check the chain adjustment again. Right. So I've now got the chain adjustment on 45. Like I said, I've gone for the maximum end, because when you lower this down off the stands and you torque this up to the correct torque, it will add the slight amount of tightness. So therefore your chain will be too tight if you've gone to the minimum. So if you go to the maximum, usually brings it bang on. For me anyway, that's how I've always done it. So we'll just do a final measure and then we'll spin the lock nuts up. So once you're happy that it's all aligned and adjusted correctly, you spin the 13mm bolts back up, these adjusters, lock nuts, sorry. Spin them up by hand. And then with your 13mm open-ended spanner, just give them a little tweak. Right, so that's the chain all adjusted nicely. Now, final job, to torque this bad boy up. Again, 34mm socket on there. We'll get the torque wrench, get it adjusted, and that's job complete. Right, so I just checked in the Haynes manual, and the torque wrench for the torque setting for this nut is 100 Newton meters. So we set this up to 100. Right. So we'll set the scale to 100, put the lock nut on, and all we do now is tighten up. When you've got to the correct torque, this will click. There we go, so that's now the correct torque. So we'll just give one last check of the chain tension. Again, 35 to 45mm, then we're job done. Right, and so that's a quick little video on how I do my rear wheel. Like I said in previous garage videos, I'm no trained mechanic. These are just things I've picked up over the years of tinkering with bikes and referencing into Haynes manuals. All the torque settings I've used are from the Haynes manual. On the rear wheel there was only one torque, and that's this one here, which was 100 Newton meters. I would have popped that in as a subtitle as we go. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. As you can see, it's not a particularly difficult job. Anyone can do it. Take care. See you soon.